this moment to say I'm sorry. Because over the past 30 plus years of my life, I've hurt a lot of people. None more so than myself. In fact, if it weren't for one person, I may not be here today. I extend my deepest gratitude to you all for joining me here today to show respect to a person who has touched many of our lives. I am deeply honored to be given the opportunity among family and friends to award Melody Kokenor, my mother, the Guardian Angel Award. You see, the thing about a guardian angel is that they have the ability to make you feel safe. And like magic, they show up just at the right time. As I'm sure you're aware, motherly figures in our life have a way of being stern but nurturing, while doing the best not to allow their judgments to get in the way. When I was a teenager, I was pretty rebellious. I remember I would sneak out late at night in order to get into all kinds of mischievous makings. Often, my phone would light up, and it would be my mother telling me to get home. And this terrified me because, well, I like drugs. So I'd end up going home high on mushrooms or ecstasy or whatever, just to find my mother with her arms crossed. And I'd see the trouble in her eye. So clever me found a way out, talking about my feelings. Almost every time I'd show up, I'd open up, and my mother's immense heart would respond by opening up as well. Now, I may have been trying to subvert any kind of discipline at the time, but I will always remember my mother's love and her ability to make me feel safe during these times. I severely struggled with addiction and mental health issues for nearly 20 years of my life. And my mother, and instead of enabling me, like a guardian angel, she protected me in other ways. During this time, she, for very legitimate reasons, I assure you, would not allow me to live with her. However, she would often meet up with me in order to check in and give me supporting words and to help me buy food and clothing. Now, timing is everything, and a guardian angel has the ability to show up when they're most needed. My mother may not have always been there, or my mother may not have always been around, but she was certainly always there for me. She worked very hard to provide a good life for me, and anytime I needed her, she always appeared. I often called her throughout the week just to talk, to get her amazing advice, and to vent, because even though she may not be able to help the situation, she always makes me feel better. But there's one time in particular that stands out the most, of her having been there for me. In 2011, during the peak of my struggle with addiction, I intentionally overdosed in an attempt to end my life. I was living in a foreclosed home almost 2 hours away from where my mother lived, and I was supposed to meet her for lunch the following afternoon. Not that I remembered. I went to sleep after taking the drugs thinking, well, I guess I'll deal with this in the morning if I wake up. Fortunately, I did wake up the next day, dehydrated, dizzy, disoriented. I picked up my phone and the first thing I saw was a text from my mother, which oddly read, "Do you still need a ride?" Because even though I had told her numerous times that I already had a ride, the guardian angel within her told her otherwise. And so I called and I said, "Hey Mama, yes, I do need a ride to the hospital." My mother then made it her ultimate goal to come find me and take me to the hospital, even though that day was her birthday. Without my mother's incredibly kind, nurturing safety, and her magic ability to show up when she's most needed, I may not be here today. One of the most inspiring moments I've ever experienced was when I looked back and saw how my mother saved my life. I only hope that one day I can be a guardian angel like she is for me when I have children to love.